So, welcome everyone in today's class. And in today's class, we will be learning two topics that are first is access modifiers, and second one is module and packages. So, one of you have asked today that when we are building any websites, then we have CSS and CSS, JavaScript, and HTML files. So if we talk about any page, then any page is the combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript file. So he was asking me, so how these three different types of files execute at once. So this is the basically where the concept module and packages comes. Module and packages allow you to import more than one files in your program. Okay, so we'll be learning module and packages. So first, I have we have gone through access modifiers. Okay, this is the part of object-oriented programming, and to and it was the part of the principle data encapsulation. So someone has asked any question? Yeah, correct. Uh, So it was the part of data encapsulation. So encapsulation basically have encapsulation says that encapsulation is one of the fundamental concept in object-oriented programming. It describes the idea of wrapping data and the module and the method. Okay, that works on data within one unit. Okay, it means that encapsulations tells that. Okay, so please give me 1 minute. Encapsulation tells that when we have some data, then we need to protect them. We only need to give the access of data to only those people that should have. Means if we talk about program, then encapsulation says that in program, if we have some data, then we need to provide the access of data only to only to the those functions or part of program that should have access of that data. Okay, so this is a principle of object-oriented programming. So I think all of you understood what is encapsulation.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
suppose that I'm adding a new file here. Okay, so what is encapsulation? I want to give you an example. Okay, suppose that we have two layers. Sorry, we have three layers. Okay, first suppose that this is data layer, and this is service layer. Okay, this is business layer. Suppose that we have three layers. First is okay. So I am this example is basically related to the encapsulation. So suppose that in our program, okay, we are building any website or we are building any software. Then we have some data layer. Data layer means data layer will have the responsibility to access, to handle all the data related to the website. And we have suppose that service layer. Service layer basically will does basically will do it, it will get all the data from the data access layer and will compute some task. Okay, so now, so suppose that this data access layer is handling all the data related to the website. Okay, and this service layer is getting all the data from the website, and it is computing some task. So, and that task we have some business layer. Business layer means we basically handle here what should be good for what should be business related decisions should be taken in our website. Suppose that we are building a website to sell to sell t-shirts. So if we are selling t-shirts, then we should suppose that if someone from America is buying our someone from America wants to buy our t-shirt, then he need to do the payment in dollar. And if someone is from India, then he need to pay in rupees. Okay, so these two payment method difference will be done in business layer. So business layer basically does business related tasks, and service layer integrates this data access layer and business layer, and it finally gives you services. Okay, so and we have one more layer. Suppose that this is our website, this is our controller. Okay, controller that basically no, try to understand the architecture of any website. Okay, so one more thing. Yeah, now what's happening any website, we have some data or data access layer that will store the data related information. This service layer will get the data from the data layer, and it will compute some task according to the business layer, and it will transfer that services to the controller. Okay, so controller is basically your server that is connecting to the client is nothing but it is website, it is web browser. Okay, suppose that you are opening Read My Course from your laptop, then your laptop is basically your laptop, not laptop. Suppose you are opening Read My Course from Chrome, then Chrome is your client. Chrome is client, and this client, this your Chrome client is calling my website. So my website has some controller part. Okay, that controller part will directly interact with you, and it will give you data. If you want data, it will give data. So how it will fetch data? First it will call service layer. Service layer will get the data from data layer, and it will compute some task according to the business layer, and it will transfer data to the controller, and then controller will transfer that data to the client. So what is the main point here is that we will not want that this data layer should directly interact with the controller. So this is called as encapsulation. So data access layer should not directly contact with the controller. Similarly, this data access layer should not directly contact with the business layer. Similarly, service layer should not directly contact to the client. So this is the This is the encapsulation. Okay, so this is encapsulation. This is how data is transferred and data is protected. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now, try to understood what encapsulation says. Encapsulation is one of the fundamental concept in object-oriented programming. It describes the idea of wrapping data and the method that work on data within one unit. Okay, so one layer you will call that one unit, or if any object, if there is any object, then that object you will call that that is one unit, and we will wrap the data in form of capsule. Okay, so in object oriented programming we call it a encapsulation. So this puts in restrictions on accessing variables and method directly and can prevent the accidental modification of data. Now to handle the encapsulation, we have private members, protected members, and public members. Okay, so first is public members. So, public members is nothing but whenever you create any attribute, any property inside a class, then these are default public. Okay, so public members means they are open to everywhere. Means they are open to anyone. They are open to anyone means that anyone can get the value of this property and can modify the value of this property. So this type of members are called as public members. Okay, now second type of members are private members. So private members does what? Okay, this is not private. Protected members. Before going to the protected modifier, we should understand private modifiers. Okay, now you can see that private modifiers has the syntax that this there should have double underscore. You can see that I have added double underscore before the beginning in the beginning of the variable name. So this tells that this is a private member. So if any variables you are creating as private, then it will be not accessible to any in the it will be not accessible to anyone. Means if you are creating the instance of the class, if you will be creating the object of the class, then you will not have the access of these properties of the object. Only this class this class internally modifies the value or can get the values of these variables. Okay, now you can think that why we create private modifiers. Okay, suppose that we are storing some key. Okay, some key related to some suppose that we are storing some password. Okay, in the class. So we will not want that our password should be visible to everyone. So we will make our password private in that case. And because we will not want that our password should get that means our password should not be accessible to everyone. And sim and no one can change the value of the password. So these two things makes we need to use the private modifiers. Okay, so when we will be using the private modifiers, when we will not want that our data should be changed by by anyone in the program. Okay, is this clear what is private members?
Yeah.
So the syntax of private members is we should write double underscore. Now third type is protected modifiers. So protected modifiers are what? I told you that we have inheritance. Okay, inheritance means uh, if one class is inheriting the properties and methods of another class, then this phenomenon is called as inheritance. Okay, so in case of inheritance, we create one more type of data type, that is called as protected members. So these protected members can be accessible to derived class, which means these protected members will be accessible to derived class, and it will be also accessible to anyone. Means it means it has the property, means it will have the property like it will be accessible to base class, and also it will be accessible to the, sorry, it will be accessible to derived class, and it will be also accessible to the other part of the program. So these are protected members. So I will give you the example one by one, and just the syntax of protected members are, we need to write underscore before the name of the variable. So I told you that we have three types of access modifier. First is public. In the case of public, we simply write syntax, just write name of the properties. We do not write underscore here. In case of protected members, we write single underscore. In case of private members, we write double underscore. Now, okay, so we have private members samples dot. First, I am creating a private member. Suppose that I am creating a class rectangle, and I am adding here length is equal to 10, or suppose that I am writing here none, and I am writing here width is equal to none. And now def init. I told you that init is nothing but it is constructor, and we need to pass here self, and then now we are assigning here self dot length is equal to length, and self dot width is equal to width. Okay, now we are creating the instance of the class. Okay. Now print value of n is equal to rectangle 1 dot length. Similarly, now I am running this program. So it is telling that value of length is 3. We passed here 3 and 4, and 3 will be assigned to the length and 4 will be assigned to the width, and then it will assign length value as 3 and then width value as 4. Now try to get the width value. Print value of width is equal to rectangle 1 dot, suppose that I am writing here width. Now see what is happening. So it is telling you that rectangle object has no attribute width. Okay, so now you can see that we can get the value of length, but we cannot get the value of width. So this length is public member. So this is public member and this is private member. Fair everyone?
Yes, sir.
So now you can see that we can get the value of public member. Similarly, we can modify the value of public member. Suppose that we are writing here rectangle 1 dot length is equal to 5 and then get the value. Now, first time it will be 3, then you are changing the value as 5, then second time it will be 5, and now try to change the value of this single one. Suppose that first I am giving you this example only. Now you can see that value of length is equal to 3 and value of length is equal to 5. So firstly it was 3 and then we modified is the value of length as 5. Now but you can see that we cannot modify the value of width. So try to modify the value of width 6. It will give you error. Okay, should give error. Why it is not giving error? No, why it is happening? We are writing here length is equal to none, width is equal to, and then we have written here rectangle one. Okay, okay. So what's happening here? When you are writing here rectangle 1 dot width is equal to 6, then what's happening here, it is creating one it is basically creating one attributes in the object. Okay, so that's why now you are able to access the value of the width. But if you want to directly access it, you cannot access it. Now you can see that what is telling rectangle object has no attribute width, but what this line was doing, if you are writing here length rectangle 1 dot width is equal to 6, then it is doing what, it is just adding a with this width property, this width property into this class. So this width will be different, this width will be different to this width. Okay, this will be still the private member, and it will be now it will be just the attribute of the object. So if you want to get the difference, suppose that I am writing here def calculate area, calculate area self, okay, now in self dot start self dot length. Now to calculate the area, we basically write what, self dot width and self dot length, and now you can see that what will be the output. Okay, Basically, your program will give error here. No, we need to call. Okay, so we need to call the calculate area to get the area. Rectangle one dot calculate area, and we need to print this. So there are lots of value. It will create confusion. So I am uh, just commenting this. Now we are doing what? We are creating the object and passing 3 and 4 as length and width, and then we are assigning the value of width as 6. Then we are printing the value of, suppose that I am not printing this, and I am just calculating the area. Now you can see that what it is giving you as output. It is okay. We should not write here print basically. Because why we should not write here print, because this method is not returning anything, it is just printing. So it will print value on the screen. So you should not call here print method. Only call print whenever we have something is returning from the function. This function is not returning anything. So now call the value. So now you can see that it is giving you 12. Okay, it is giving you 12. Now you can see that we here we have changed the value of width as 6. Initially we had passed 3 and 4, so the value of length was 3 and the value of width was 4, and now we change the value of width by 6, but still we are getting the area value 12. Okay, so I told you that this width is different from this width. Okay, this is the private member. You cannot change the value of this value. If you are writing like this, then you are attaching another variable or another property to this object. That will be different from the existing private member. Similarly, if you want, you can attach any number of variables. Suppose that I am writing here rectangle one dot name is equal to my rectangle, and now you can get the value of this rectangle one dot name. It will print you my rectangle. It's printing you my rectangle. Is this clear, everyone? So it was the example of private member. Now, if you have any doubt in private member, you can ask here. Suppose that I am adding here one more variable, that is area. Okay. So I am creating another. I'm getting another class. Okay. So I'm writing here protected member example. Sorry. Dot py. Now I'm writing here class. So this is basically our derived rectangle, means this it will have rectangle as the class. So suppose, yeah, suppose that we have written the we have written the rectangle class. We have where we have written program one private. Yeah, we have created the rectangle class here. Okay, so this is in private member example file, and we want to access this into this protected. Okay, I am deleting this. It will create you confusion. Okay, so we have here we have created rectangle in this Python program. This is private member example.py, and we want to access this rectangle inside this program file. Okay, so what we will need to do here, we need to write here import private member example. Now you can see that now rectangle will be accessible. What was name? Rectangle. Now type here rectangle. Now rectangle will be accessible. But remove this line. So why it is telling that? Okay. Now, okay. So to get the rectangle from this protected member, this is called as module. Okay, this is one module. This is second module. To get the rectangle from this module to this module, we need to write here from module name is what? Module name is private members example. You can see that private member example. Then you need to write import and then rectangle. So rectangle was the attribute or the class name. So now you can see that we have rectangle one. So this derived class has the base class rectangle. Now I have added here area is equal to none. And then I am writing here area is equal to self dot area is equal to self dot area is equal to self dot width star self dot length. So every time to access any properties or attribute, these are basically properties of that class, then you need to write here self. Okay, always. So now you can see that we have area here. Area is so def init self. Okay, Okay, so it is printing what? 12, my rectangle, none, none. So what is printing here? Uh, this none and this none and my rectangle. Okay, so we have just called here area and then we have called here rectangle dot rectangle 1 dot length. Okay, so we have 12 and what is printing here? My rectangle. Okay, we need to. It is giving you none and then none. But we have the value. Okay, we have never calculated the area and the value of length is public and we should get the value of this length and this length. So in today's 18 example was a similar example. Okay, so similarly it should be done here. I think something has happened in this file system. That's why it's not running correctly. So we are getting here none. So we have written here self dot length is this and this is what this should be done. Okay, so the whole point here is that it was the example of private difference between private and protected members. Okay, so I don't think this is. I think what is happening here. Why is this program is not running direct class? Then we are calling here. So, okay, so okay, so we still have none as the value. So it is happening due to we have passed here self dot length. Okay, so forget this. I will give you another example. This example is not basically fitting here. So the protected members is nothing but it will be accessible to the derived class. So suppose that we are writing here print self dot. Suppose that I am creating this as okay. No, this is not a good example. So what should we do here? Self dot. Okay, I will give you this example, another example. Okay, so it will be simply accessible to the derived class. So it is not actually so we have basically these concepts today. That was access that was public members, protected members and private members. So public members is simply difference. You can see that this length is public member, and it was accessible to the another part of the program. Okay, so you can see that when we print the value of when we print the value of this length, we got the value directly. But when we printed the value of this rectangle one dot with was basically a private member. So this was the difference between the public and private members. But protected members is nothing but it will be accessible to the derived class. So suppose that any protected variable defined inside this rectangle, and it suppose that we have defined area, then it will be accessible to its derived class. So this is the derived class of this rectangle, and value this value area will be accessible. So try to create a program. Okay, so where I already discussed this derived class, and you can create a derived class and try to get the value of this uh, try to get the value of this protected member. Okay, protected members. Okay, now the next topic is module and packages. So I told you that what is module. Module is nothing but so I am closing this all and giving you phrase example. So suppose that we have here new folder as day 9, suppose a day 20, and then we are creating a file here, program 1.py. So now you can see that we have created a folder day 20, and we are creating a program 1. We are writing a program 1.py. So now even you have written nothing, but this program 1.py will be called as a module. Call as module. Now again add a new file, program 2. Now again this program 2 will be called as a module. So suppose that we any functions or any variable. So what I'm telling you, any function, class, variable, variables, functions, class, variables written inside a module will be the attributes of the module. Okay, to get the any function, class or variable, we will write from module name, and then we will write import whatever you want to write. Suppose that you have created class rectangle and square. Similarly, you have created function calculate my earning. Similarly, you have created a variable, suppose that x, y, z. So suppose that you have created variable x, y, z and class rectangle, square and function calculate my earning. So all you can get by writing this from module name import and whatever you want to get. So suppose that I am wanting to get the to import the function. Now you will get the function. So if you want to import everything from this module, so you can write here from module name import star. Okay. So now I am creating here variable x is equal to 1. Then I am creating here def calculate or with that I am writing simply print x. Okay. And it is printing print x. So it is doing nothing but it is printing x. Suppose that so this is a variable, this is a function, and now I am creating a class class. Suppose that I am writing the name of the class as square. Okay, and we are doing here nothing. So I told you that we have functions, class and variable, all these thing in this module. Now to get these functions, variables and the class from this module to this module. Suppose that I want to get the value of x. So I am writing here from program 1 import x. Okay, and I am writing here print x. So what was the value of x? It was 1, and then run this program. It is printing you 1. Suppose that change the value of the x here. I am changing the value of x as 5. And now run this program. It is printing you 5. Is this clear, everyone? Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So we are interacting between two modules. Okay, so we are interacting between two modules. So first module is program 1 and second module is program 2. Now you can see that program 2 is accessing the data or variables from the program 1. Now similarly we can we can get the square. Suppose that we are doing something here def self and then print. This is a square. Suppose that I am writing here square. Now you can create the instance of this square equal to square. Now you can see that it is printing this is a square. So we have basically created the instance or you will call this instance or you can call this as object. So we are creating the object of this square. So whenever you call the whenever you create the object of the class, then its constructor called automatically. So its constructor is what, this unit, and this unit is doing what, this is printing this is a square, this is a square. So now when you created the instance or object, you are getting the value, this is square. Now you can see that by this way we got x and square. These are two attributes from this module. Okay, so if you want to now suppose that I want to get this print x, try to call the print x. So it was print, and then I'm simply calling this because this is not getting any parameter. Okay, now you can see that writing this, it is getting that undefined variable print x. So print x is not defined in this module. So to get the print x, you need to write here. Okay, now run this program. So it is printing 5. Why? Because it was printing the value of x. So print x is basically doing what? It is printing the value of x, and the value of x in the file is 5. So when you calling print x, it is printing you 5. Okay. Now if you want to get the access of all the variables, you don't need to write this. Instead of this, you can write here star. Now run this program. This will not give you any error. And see that it is printing you 5. Okay, so suppose that I am clearing the screen. Printing you 5, this is square and then 5. Okay, first you need to get the difference, and I am commenting this. Okay, it is printing you 5, this is square and 5. Is this clear, everyone?
Yeah.
So this was all about modules. Okay, now similar way, suppose that we have 5 programs and you want to get the access of all these 5 programs can interact with each other. Okay, so now notice one thing, whenever you import any class, sorry, whenever you import any module inside another module, then now you can see that there will be a folder named as PyCache. It will be automatically created. It will be created only when you call the module. Suppose that I am deleting this. Okay, I am deleting this. I have deleted. Now call this program. So this PyCache folder will be always created by itself whenever you import any module inside different modules. So run this program. Now you can see that it is automatically created PyCache folder. And what is inside this PyCache? You can see that it is what, program 1.cpython38.pyc. So what is this? This is basically whenever you import any module inside another module, then to speed up your program, Python automatically creates the compiled version of the called module. So we called which module? Program 1. Then Python automatically created the compiled version of that program. So it will be no, when you run this program, your program will be fast. Not, it will not every time compile the code. It has compiled the code once and it will be used anytime. So this is for performance improvement Python is doing for yours. For performance improvement, this is doing by Python. Okay. So I think we have only thing left is packages. So packages is nothing but the collection of packages is nothing but the collection of the modules. So this day 20, this day 20 we have two module, program 1, program 2. So and we have a PyCache folder. Okay. So module is nothing but it is a collection of a it is collection of sorry, package is nothing but it is collection of modules. Is this clear everyone? What is packages? So I will explain packages in depth, and I will give you the example. I will give the example of creating your program as packages. Okay, so we will cover it in next class. And if you have any doubt in today's class, you can ask. So I think tomorrow's class will be not more than 10 to 20 minutes, and after that I will explain you about project, and you all need to submit the project. Then you will get the certificate. Okay, is this clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So if you have any doubt related to project or anything, you can ask. Now again, your class will be completed tomorrow, and if you want to continue the class, and if you want to read the advanced version, in that advanced version we will be covering some creating websites and creating websites and programs related to some simple software, so that you can for that you can join the advanced class. Okay, that will be also 1 month. I will be just that class will be starting from next Monday. Okay, coming Monday. And if you want, you can join. We have already 70 registrations on that. Okay, so this will be for if you want to explore the more knowledge in Python. If you want, then you can join. Otherwise, you can skip. If you want, or if you only want to understand the basic, then you can skip that class. And if you want to uh, go to the advanced part, then you can join. So if does anyone have any doubt, you can ask in today's class. So can you give me feedback? What was all the classes? Have you faced any challenges? Or if you faced any challenges, then in which section you faced challenges?